Recently, I've seen far too many runners looking for shortcuts, talking about training smarter, not harder. Yeah, nice try, buddy, but that's not really what you mean, is it? Smarter is just an excuse to not put the work in. All the fancy gadgets and the latest tech, it's all just a cover-up. Well, I'm not falling for that bollocks, so this week I'll be smashing out 280k of running. That's 40k every day because you need to train harder, not smarter. So the mileage just keeps going up and up, and this is actually technically a recovery week because yesterday I ran a marathon. So what better way to come back than that with the highest mileage week of the year so far? I mean, as I've said before, my training probably isn't the smartest, but that's what this video is about because there is some method to the madness, and if you stay till the end, you'll find out if I actually survive this week. Can I make it through unscathed, and what state am I in at the end of it? So the question is, why train harder, not smarter? And there's obviously some tongue-in-cheek to my catchphrase. Like, my training approach definitely is very calculated, but I do genuinely think there's some truth to that statement that most people could do with training a lot harder. So I feel like nowadays everyone's just looking for shortcuts, like an easy way to get better without actually putting in the work. And you'll hear the pros talk about the 1%, so those little things that they're doing to try and get an edge over their rivals. But you've got to remember, these guys are right at the top. They've probably already maximized their training, so 99% of people, it doesn't work like that. Everyone's overvaluing the 1%ers, like lactate testing, the shoes, supplements, all of that stuff. Yeah, maybe they'll give you a few percent here and there, but you know what could give you 30, 40% improvement? Training harder. It's so simple, but so overlooked. So instead of investing in all these expensive extras that companies love to push at you these days, why not just invest in your training? Because it's completely free. It's the greatest deal of all time. You just run a little bit more and you're guaranteed to get better. Now, I've got to practice what I preach, so that's enough chat from me. It's time to get to the action. I'm actually running 3 times today, so let's go and pound some pavements. Go on. So it's the morning after the marathon. Yesterday I got out for Nagano Marathon, 2:22, a solid training effort, but I'm straight back out on the streets and I'm going to attempt a triple day today. So 3 runs in one day. It's the best way to optimize mileage. And if I'm going to run a 280k week, then I've got to somehow get it in wherever I can. So there's no gentle recovery, straight back out there. I'm plodding out some nice little miles to just flush out any of that tiredness. Now, by the way, if you're wondering where this sexy jacket is from, it's a collab between Seisky and Puma. And Seisky are actually supporting this Copenhagen Marathon build-up, so shout out to them, but more on that later. Now, I think the biggest problem with triple days is actually the scheduling, just fitting anything else into the day, because it pretty much feels like you're always running. So at the moment, I'm exploring Nagano, having a little look around, but I've got to get out for my second run of the day. It feels like I only just finished the first one. I'm seeing all this intriguing scran that I'd love to sample right now, but I've got to get out for my run first, then maybe we can come back here. So the way I'm scheduling the triples is I got up early, got out for my first run at sort of 6:37 or so. Then I get breakfast in, have a little wander around, explore, then get out for my second run around midday, lunch after that, then I get a slightly longer break, a couple hours, before finishing off the day with my third run, maybe around 5 o'clock, and then get dinner in after. So I kind of feel like I'm always eating or running, and I've decided to schedule my triple days on my easy days, so keep the hard days hard. I don't want to absolutely ruin myself when I'm already putting in big volume sessions. So keep that to just a light little double day, and then on these triple days, I'll stack up 3 easy runs. But also on all my easy days, I throw in hill sprints usually, or strides, and then some kind of plyometrics, gym, S&C. There's something like that almost every day. So I'd like to think I'm living up to my train harder, not smarter mentality. So if you're wondering who inspired the triple days, then it's the legend Cam Levins himself. So he holds the North American record, 2:05 marathon, and he's synonymous with 280k weeks and hitting 3 runs a day. I remember I heard about his training even before I heard about the Japanese style, and he's an absolute animal and actually trains very like some of the top Japanese guys who are also on the massive mileage. And if you look at the Asian record holder, Kengo Suzuki, 2:04 marathon, and yet again the Japanese are known for this huge mileage. Then the best runners in the world, the Kenyans, again, they also hit the triple days. Actually, the Boston Marathon winner, John Correa, he was hitting loads of triples in his build-up. So this isn't completely mental. And I couldn't talk about mileage without mentioning the great Kelvin Kiptum, the fastest marathon runner ever, who very sadly passed away, but he would have been almost certainly the first guy to break the 2-hour marathon. And he was putting in 300k weeks in the lead up to his world record. So I'm pretty sure it's no coincidence that the world record, the North American record, the Asian Asian record, all the best times are done off huge mileage. So I've got to follow suit and somehow try and outdo them. So I should probably give an update from the last video, because when I left you guys, I was stranded halfway up a mountain, unsure if I'd ever make it back home after that marathon. I don't know where we are right now, for God's sake. So yeah, I eventually made it back, but geez, it was an absolute mission. I gave up on hitchhiking because no one was stopping for me. And in the end, I just decided, right, I'm gonna have to just firm this one and walk it all the way back. I think in total, because my phone died, I was definitely not taking the direct route. I think I put in about 10K to get back from this mountain to my Airbnb. So maybe it's an unorthodox marathon recovery, but you know what? I genuinely think it did the trick. Today, I feel unreal. Like, these bad boys feel great. Like, it doesn't feel like I've done a marathon at all yesterday. So maybe that's the secret. You just need to get stuck up a mountain, get the steps in, and that right there is the secret to marathon recovery. So I survived the triple day yesterday, got in a little 20K this morning, and now I'm just heading off back to Tokyo. And we're finishing it off in classic style with a little Japanese sweet treat, just to fuel me up for that tough train journey back. So it's called taiyaki. It's in the shape of a fish, and it's sort of sweet pastry with, this one's got custard in the middle. They're always a bit hit and miss though, so we'll see if this one delivers. We got a winner, boys. So it's kind of like a croissant on the outside, and you got this unreal little custard cream in the middle. Yeah, that's an absolute banger. I'm gonna give it 8.9. I don't know if I'm too generous with these Scratch Japan scores, but I love anything sweet, so that's always gonna score high for me. Great recovery fuel. I've got to get out for 16K later. This is the only way to do it. Now, if you've been enjoying the video up to this point and you're new around here, then it would be lovely if you could hit that subscribe button. I'm trying to get to 100K by the end of the year, and we're just about on track at the moment, but we've got to keep this rolling. So to kind of explain a bit more of the thinking behind my train harder, not smarter philosophy, I basically just have to outwork all those people that are more talented, naturally quicker than me at running. That's the only way I'm going to be able to beat them over the longer distances. If I just train the same as everyone else, do the same sort of standard mileage, then there's no way I'm going to be better than them. There needs to be another factor at play, because yeah, I'm reasonably talented at running, but there's definitely hundreds, if not thousands of runners in the UK that could be better marathon runners than me if they just put in the same work as me. Luckily, there's very few that are as psychotic and actually willing to do that kind of crazy mileage. So that's pretty much how I've managed to be reasonably successful so far, just that I'm willing to go to places that no one else will and take these huge risks, trying to push the mileage up to like 280K weeks. And yeah, maybe I get injured, but I'm very willing to take that risk. So this is the perfect time to bring in Kaizen, which is an app I mentioned a couple weeks ago, and I'm basically partnering up with them for the Gold Coast Marathon build. And so for someone like me promoting an app, I've got to be fully behind them. And luckily, they also support the train harder approach and allow you to create a training plan around an accurate race prediction, and then give you incremental weekly targets to help build towards that. But then what's unique about them and why it works with me is that they're completely flexible how you structure that training. So just around the training load, you can choose what sessions you hit. So I can still smash these absolute monster sessions. And then depending on the factors of mileage, intensity, and if you're doing any cross training as well, that all helps add to your overall training load. So it gives you a way better idea of how you're actually building that over time, instead of just, oh, I'm doing this many miles a week. So for this Copenhagen race coming up, I'm using the improved plan to basically get in the best shape I can. And obviously here I had to select maxing out, which is the highest potential. It literally says rapid fitness gains, running is your top priority. Few athletes can sustain that. Well, that sounds like a challenge, and I feel like my Marathon Monk ways are built for this program. But you can basically adjust it to fit your needs and to aim to whatever goal you've got. And I'll be continuing to use the app to make sure I'm keeping that volume high while also smashing the quality at the same time. And that combo should lead to some monster gains, and hopefully come Gold Coast, that's sub 210. And for you lucky people watching this video, you can actually get an extended free trial with my code RAN2JAPAN. So click the link down below, download the app, and you can join me on the Train Harder mission. Speaking of which, let's see how I'm getting on with this 40K a day week. God, I'm struggling breaking 6-minute Ks, 10-minute miling on this warm-up. Not quite sure how I'm going to get down to 3s during the session, but it could have something to do with the last few days training. So I've hit 3 back-to-back days now of 40K plus, 25 miles, just trying to absolutely knacker my legs going into this big Saturday workout. But I managed to get a bit of quality in there. So on the track, 15 by 800, working close to 3-minute Ks. Then my medium long run the day after, 30K with 2 quick reps to finish. Bit of that fatigued interval training. So I knocked clocked out, 2:54s for them. Then a nice recovery day yesterday, just the 40K split up into a triple, 20, 12 and 8. So I've got no excuses to be tired coming into today after that nice refreshing recovery. Now for some absolutely bizarre reason, I actually felt tired in this run. I really can't think why that would be, but I just had no pop in my legs, and trying to slog out this 3:20 pace for the 25K tempo, it felt like such a hard effort. Like my heart rate wasn't even too high. I wasn't really working that hard, but my legs were just so battered from the week. So I was pretty pleased to actually just get through this one. Oh, it's probably one of the hardest marathon sessions I've ever done. Probably one of the slowest too, but coming off that 280 week just absolutely finished me. Like there's no pop in the legs, but I mean, that is the idea at the end of the day. Like I know I'm coming in tired and I'm just flirting with death. It's a nice little phrase that Rory Linkletter said in a podcast, life in stride. I like that. That was basically it today. So I'm definitely testing the limits of what's possible at the moment. I feel like I'm right on the edge, but it's good. I need to find out where that limit is. And by hitting this sort of 280K, it should just slowly get me used to it, hopefully conditioned. So over time, that becomes easier and easier. But today, 25K at 320s, I just couldn't pick up at all from there. And I might get out for a second little session later. I want to get a little bit of speed in my legs, just try and grind it out on tired legs. But we'll see about it. We'll see how the recovery process is. I've got to get a whole load of scranning right now, and then potentially I can get back out here later. And the old Volks restaurant came through and delivered once again, absolutely sorting me out with an £8 buffet. And it seems that's all I needed, because later in the day, I went out and hit a nice little 8K tempo, 3:04 per K. So I was actually moving quite nicely, especially when earlier in the day I was completely cooked. So I guess all it took that day was 53 Ks in my legs to wake me up. So at this point, I'd broken the back of the training week, and all that was left was a nice little social run on Sunday. And this is my recovery day. I get to enjoy this one. Only 30K on the cards, so I'm nearly there. And I'm just heading over now to a Say Sky shakeout run. I'm wearing the freshest Say Sky drip in the game. So you remember they supported the Tokyo Marathon build? Well, they're actually sponsoring this Copenhagen one as well. And it's thanks to them that I can travel over to run the marathon. So they've got a special pop-up in Japan to showcase the new gear. So we'll go check that out, because it looks like they've got some very fresh stuff on the website. And also it's a nice excuse to get some extra mileage. A little 5K shakeout should do the trick. So I got a few miles in with the group, had a lovely little chat with some people, and then ate some Danish delicacies before having a look around the store. Now, I don't really have a clue what's being said here, like with half of the Japanese conversations I have, but when in doubt, just smile and nod, and that usually does the trick. So big up Say Sky for the support, and you can use my code RTJ15 for that 15% discount off their website. They have got some fresh gear on there. Now let's see what state I'm in at the end of this behemoth training week. Oh geez, we did it. A 280K week, that's 40K every day on average. And that was coming off the back of a marathon, so a nice little recovery week. But you know what, I actually don't feel too bad now. There was times during the week that I definitely felt a little bit cooked, but I actually still managed to get some very good intensity in. And I reckon this was probably my best week ever, just hitting all the different zones, getting in a very solid intensity as well as just the volume. Like I wasn't just jogging out there, and that's just all gonna add to the training load and make you stronger for the longer distances. So I'll sign things off now. After a successful week, I made it through unscathed, no little aches and pains yet, and it's only up from here. We'll keep building, but this has been Jake with Ran to Japan, and there's no more fitting way to end this video than with my motto, train harder, not smarter. Whoosh.